Well, I think essentially what happened was that off the back of the appeal that had been made by Morroco, Morroco have always insisted that per the regulations that you've spelled out so eloquently, that they should have been declared winners of the match. The counter argument from a lot of people with legal background and also a lot of football background like Osasi Obayuwana, and what the Senegalese are saying is that essentially once the referee did not call off the match on the pitch, the decision of the referee is final. Basically, it is upholding the sanctity of the referee's decision as the sole arbiter in a football match within the 90-minute period. Now, that 90-minute period, of course, includes the extended 17-minute period when the Senegal team walked off the pitch before they were encouraged to get back onto the pitch, and that they played according to the whistle of the referee. For most people, this has only happened because the referee, Jean-Jacques from Congo DR, was not strong enough to...
On the day.
Yes, to apply what a lot of people thought was the right decision. But there is no law within the CAF regulations that you read that stipulates the number of minutes that you leave the field and you were set to have forfeited the match. Nothing like that even exists in the international, in the IFAB ruling, which is a major body that determines football rules. Basically, it says nothing. It's silent on how long a team leaves a field and is said to have forfeited the match. The other contention is, what do you mean by the grounds? Is it the stadium? Is it the pitch? If I go into the dressing room, have I forfeited the match?
Absolutely.
If a team walks off the pitch into the dressing room for 2 minutes, have they forfeited the match? What's the timeline? Is the pitch part of the grounds, or the grounds is referring to the stadium? And all these are the issues that CAF will have to do. Now, whatever the legal context and the basis of it, this is just all too messy. There's always been this strong sense that CAF panders to Morocco too much. There was elements from the last Women's Nations Cup final. Nigeria felt really disrespected by a lot of the things that happened. And their striker, Shishatu Ashola, one of the first people to say, you only win football matches on the pitch. Basically, the rest of the continent has rallied behind Morocco, behind Senegal. Because there's always been a sense that CAF basically has become a tool in the hands of Morocco to use. And that a country that was chasing its first major title in 50 years is being handed one this way. And so this is just, I personally think it's just a pretty bad deal for African football. It speaks to the chaos, the disorganization, and a lot of things that you don't really want to be associated with a competition that's grown in leaps and bounds, that whose television exposure has become much, much better. And it's a bit of a mess. They say every publicity is good publicity, but no competition should get this.
Another aspect, perhaps, which a lot of people have not paid attention to outside of this decision to hand Morocco the title is the fines on one of the Moroccan players, the ball boys who were misbehaving. Yeah. We saw the board as well slash these fines and all of it. And that is really raising eyebrows as to the decision.
So basically, Saibari,
right,
who went into, basically was tussling with the goalkeeper Mendy for his towel and the rest. He gets a fine. I think it was about
100,000.
100,000 has been slashed to 50. His match ban has been. Basically, it's almost as if the board and then the Moroccan fans the Moroccan FA for the use of the lasers, the behavior of their ball boys. It's almost as if this CAF board went into this meeting desperate, eager to do whatever Morocco pleased. So they've slashed it. They've basically gone completely bonkers over it and basically have reduced every potential fine that was placed on Senegal, on Morocco, and made them a lot more happier than they should be in this case.
Let's look at this CAS appeal, which Senegal says they're going to get into. What are their chances? Yes, we've mentioned a lot about a difficulty in being able to properly even define what a forfeiture of a game is, and all of that. How likely is that supposed to play out?
The prediction from people in the know, and you can use one precedent from 2019. Esperance Sportif de Tunis are playing without Athletic Casablanca in an African Champions League final. With that, I'm unhappy about a few things. So they leave the pitch. They don't leave the pitch, they basically leave the pitch. The referee, Baba Gassama from Gambia, one of the best to have refereed in Africa, makes a decision on the spot after some time and says that because Wydad had left the pitch, Wydad have forfeited the match. So the referee, in his wisdom, in that particular game, blows the final whistle and declares Esperance winners. Confederation of African Football, Wydad from Morocco, go to sit in one of their meetings again and comes back to say that by leaving the pitch, Wydad had not forfeited the game, and then they order a replay. Esperance refused to play, and then Wydad are declared winners of the Champions League in 2019. So Esperance then go to the Court of Arbitration for Sports, who say that the decision of a referee is sacrosanct. I think in the end, that's what this will come to. Basically, the moment the referee negotiated, they went in there, they called everybody back, they were back on the pitch. The game restarted. Brahimi missed the penalty. Senegal scored an amazing goal. They won. Everybody celebrated. They had their titles handed out to them. The medals were handed out to them. I suspect the Court of Arbitration for Sports will say the decision of the referee on that day is sacrosanct, and they will basically overturn this decision by CAF.
Absolutely, Michael. Thank you very much for joining us in studio. That's Michael Otieje. He's the general manager for 3 Sports, joining us this afternoon. And by way of a bit, in terms of additional detail, we spoke to a Ghanaian journalist in Senegal who actually tells us as well that of the many things which has happened since the Afcon, 18 Senegalese fans who were caught up during the scuffle in the stadium continue to be in detention in Morocco as their government negotiates for their release. So outside of the Afcon, which ended some 2 months ago, there are still Senegalese fans, as we speak, who are in detention. And there was a protest in Senegal about a month ago where the fans were demanding government intervention to have these 18 returned. But most certainly, this is not the last we're hearing of this particular event. But we can bring you some more stories right now.